And it's because of the nuance of a breakup. And I don't know what this is going to lead to. I don't know what else is going to go on.
The Brown family is once again pulled into the blinding glare of the spotlight, and this time it's Aspyn Brown commanding all the attention. Whispers are spreading like wildfire. Whispers about a possible twin pregnancy that have fans holding their breath. But the pregnancy rumors aren't the only thing setting the internet ablaze. In the shadows of these celebrations lies something darker. Shocking speculation about her father, Kody Brown. Rumors so bizarre and unsettling that they've managed to twist a joyful moment into a storm of tension. And when Robyn Brown finds out, she doesn't stay quiet. She never does. Her reaction is as sharp as it is emotional, and suddenly the entire Sister Wives world is split between those who believe the buzz and those who insist it's all fan-fueled fiction. The question is, what's real and what's just noise? At the center of this frenzy is Aspyn, daughter of Kody and Christine Brown. Two storylines have erupted overnight. One, the exciting prospect of Aspyn expecting her first child, and the other, the ugly swirl of suspicion that Kody Brown has been crossing certain boundaries in ways that have even longtime viewers shifting uncomfortably in their seats. The twin baby chatter has only grown louder. Photos of Aspyn, with what appears to be the start of a baby bump, have surfaced, and her uncharacteristic silence on social media has fans convinced she's hiding something big. She's glowing, one fan wrote on Reddit, and she's been extra quiet lately, just like the other Brown daughters before their announcements. For many, that's as close to confirmation as they need. But while a twin pregnancy would usually bring nothing but joy, the other half of the rumor mill is far more unsettling. Online speculation, wild, unverified, and deeply controversial, has begun linking Kody to Aspyn's personal life in ways that raise eyebrows and tempers. During recent family gatherings, fans claim to have noticed interactions they deem odd, though no real evidence has been presented. Still, the narrative has found just enough oxygen to spread across social media, igniting fierce debates about boundaries, father-daughter dynamics, and the distortions of reality TV fame. And then there's Robyn Brown. Sources say she is furious, not just annoyed, but absolutely livid, about the way these rumors are painting her husband. People are taking things way too far, a source close to the family insists. Robyn's protective streak is legendary, and those close to her say she's been pushing back hard, even quietly weighing legal options if the speculation continues to spiral. Her biggest fear? That this gossip doesn't just damage Kody, it hurts the kids too. As of now, Aspyn has made no official statement about the pregnancy, twin or otherwise, and both she and Kody have remained silent about the stranger, more toxic rumors. But in the Sister Wives universe, silence often speaks volumes. Fans are watching closely, ready to pounce on even the smallest clue. Whether this ends in baby celebrations or in deeper family turmoil, one thing is clear: the Browns can't outrun the spotlight. And this storm? It might only be the beginning. That storm broke wide open when Christine Brown, Aspyn's mother, was poised to step into a brand new role, grandmother once again. The confirmation finally came this week. Aspyn is indeed expecting her first child with her husband, Mitch Thompson, and she chose to reveal it in a way no one could miss. During a TV segment, Aspyn appeared wearing a flowing blue and white maxi dress, her growing baby bump unmistakable. It was a subtle but unmissable moment, so fitting for a woman raised in the public eye but still determined to guard parts of her private life. Fans erupted with excitement, praising her for keeping the news under wraps for so long. She's been married since 2018, one viewer noted, and now she's finally joining the mom and dad crew. Christine herself hasn't yet posted about the pregnancy on social media, but there's no doubt she's thrilled. Her family's history of sharing their lives on TLC makes this reveal feel like it belongs to everyone who's followed their journey for years. And while Aspyn tends to shy away from the spotlight unless she's on the show or mentioned by a sibling, she couldn't avoid attention this time, especially with the timing of her announcement lining up so perfectly with the return of new Sister Wives episodes. But this happy news has also brought questions, especially about Kody. Did he know about the pregnancy before Aspyn went public? Or did he find out alongside the rest of the world? His history of missing major family milestones, like learning about Maddie's pregnancy at a wedding, has fans wondering. In one recent episode, Aspyn confronted him directly about feeling a distance between them. His answer was carefully worded. He claimed to love her, always had, always would, and blamed the wedge on the fallout from his divorces from Christine, Janelle, and Mary. But for viewers, that explanation raised as many questions as it answered. Kody insists he's trying to rebuild his relationships without the influence or interference of his ex-wives. Whether he's succeeding is up for debate. The reality is that Aspyn's pregnancy announcement isn't just another happy family update. It's a reminder of the fragile, complicated, and often fractured connections at the heart of the Brown family. And in the ever-watching eyes of fans, every smile, every tear, and every moment of silence is another clue in the ongoing saga of the sister wives.
And it's not just about my character, it's about their character.
Kody Brown has made it clear he's done chasing the chaos of plural marriage. In his own words, he doesn't want the headache, the questions, the struggles, the wonder about trust. For now, he's choosing peace, and that peace exists, only with one person, Robyn Brown. The polygamist who once balanced 4 wives now finds himself with only one, and he's telling her he's content. In rare moments of vulnerability, Kody even admits the toll polygamy has taken on her, apologizing for the strain it's caused. But while he insists he's moved on from the idea of multiple marriages, he can't deny that his children remain the brightest outcome from those years of complicated unions. Robyn, however, carries her own scars from the journey, openly admitting she's now fearful of plural marriage entirely after everything that's happened to their family. Meanwhile, Christine Brown-Woolley is preparing to welcome another grandchild into her ever-growing family. Her eldest daughter, Aspyn Thompson, is expecting her first child with her husband, Mitch Thompson, a piece of joyful news that Christine is soaking in with pride. Aspyn, at 30 years old, stands as the eldest child of Christine and her ex-husband, Kody Brown. That former union produced 6 children, while Kody went on to father 12 more with Robyn and his former wives, Janelle and Mary Brown. Aspyn's announcement came during a live Fox 13 segment in Salt Lake City on April 30th, where she was promoting Mother's Day jewelry from Kendra Scott, the store she manages. Dressed in a blue and white sundress, radiating confidence and joy, she flashed a knowing smile when the interviewer teased, "And how fitting that you have your first little one on the way." Aspyn mouthed, "I know." And the moment was sealed in viewers' memories. Aspyn and Mitch's journey together began with their wedding in 2018, a celebration documented for the world in Sister Wives' 13th season. They purchased their first Utah home in 2022, planting roots close to Christine and her new husband, David Woolley. Christine is already a hands-on grandmother to Mykelti Padron's 3 children, Avalon 4, and twins Archer and Ace, just over 2. She's also embraced Janelle's grandchildren as her own, reflecting the strange and enduring bonds within the Sister Wives family tree. For Kody, the pregnancy is yet another reminder of the time slipping away with his children. In a recent episode, he confessed that Aspyn had directly confronted him, asking why he didn't like her. His reply, "Sweetheart, I love you and I always have and always will," was tinged with regret. Kody blames the emotional distance on the fallout from his divorces, claiming that too often his children only see him through the lens of his ex-wives. He says he's working to change that, trying to rebuild those bonds on his own terms. Still, the family tree is sprawling and complicated, with each branch carrying its own triumphs and tragedies. Logan, the oldest of all Kody's 18 children, has built a quiet life after marrying Michelle Petty in 2022. Leon, Kody, and Mary's only child, publicly came out as transgender in 2020 and married Audrey Chris that same year. Mykelti has embraced motherhood with Tony Padron. Maddie, Janelle's daughter, is raising 4 children with Caleb Brush. Hunter graduated from the Air Force Academy and pursued nursing. Peyton, Garrison, Gabriel, Gwen, Aurora, Isabel, Brianna, Savannah, Truly, Solomon, and Ariella each have their own place in the vast and sometimes fractured story of the Browns. Some still keep close ties, others have drifted, but not all. The names bring joy. The family still carries the raw pain of losing Garrison to suicide in 2024, a loss that reshaped how some siblings see Kody and how Kody sees himself. It's a constant reminder that for all the televised drama, the Browns are a real family living through real heartbreak. Through it all, one truth stands out. Polygamy has left scars that will never fully fade. Christine walked a long, lonely road in her marriage, realizing she had a husband but not a soulmate. Over time, it became impossible to ignore that Kody's heart belonged to Robyn alone. For a polygamist, choosing just one wife is a betrayal of the very foundation the lifestyle rests upon, and it triggered a cascade of consequences. Kody's wives left, one by one, some seeking freedom, others seeking love, all of them determined to find the happiness they could no longer grasp inside the marriage. Christine, however, did more than just leave. She transformed her life. Meeting David Woolley brought her the kind of love she'd only dreamed of. It wasn't a staged relationship, where the right words were spoken for the sake of appearances. This was real, rooted in mutual respect and joy. Christine's story since her split has unfolded like a modern fairy tale, and it's been nothing short of empowering for fans to watch. She is no longer defined by the loneliness, disrespect, and fractured bonds of her past. Instead, she's embraced peace with herself, her choices, and the new chapter she's written entirely on her own terms. After years of emotional distance and quiet tension, Christine finally reached a point where she could no longer ignore the reality of her marriage to Kody Brown. For a long time, she had tried to convince herself that love could be rekindled, that somehow they might rediscover the spark they once had. But deep inside, she knew she was living in a relationship where she was present in body, but absent in heart. The days of shared laughter and deep conversations had been replaced with awkward silences and half-hearted exchanges. Kody, meanwhile, seemed increasingly focused on Robyn, leaving his other relationships to wither in the shadows. Kody himself admitted in later interviews that his heart had shifted. He was no longer interested in pursuing additional wives, the very foundation of the polygamist lifestyle he had once defended so passionately. "I don't want that headache," he confessed, referring to the constant questions, struggles, and battles over trust that came with plural marriage. His words were as much a declaration of exhaustion as they were an unintentional confession. He had already chosen a monogamous path with Robyn in his heart long before it was ever spoken aloud. Robyn, for her part, admitted the toll this journey had taken on her. She had come into the family with hope, believing in the ideals of unity and sisterhood, but what she experienced was heartbreak, division, and a crumbling family unit. Fear replaced faith, and she could no longer imagine inviting another wife into the picture. The dream of plural marriage had turned into a nightmare that left scars on every member of the Brown household. Even as his plural marriage unraveled, Kody tried to highlight the positives, insisting that his greatest blessing from it all had been his children. 18 lives connected to him through marriage and love, though now many of those relationships were strained or distant. Christine's children especially had struggled to maintain a connection with their father after the separation. Aspyn, the eldest daughter Christine shares with Kody, had been particularly vocal about her feelings. Their relationship had once been warm, but after the divorce, Aspyn felt alienated, unsure if her father still valued her in the same way. When she finally confronted him, asking why he seemed distant, Kody told her, "Sweetheart, I love you. I always have, and I always will." But even those words, meant to comfort, could not erase years of absence. In the midst of this fractured family dynamic came a piece of joyous news. Aspyn announced she was pregnant with her first child. Married to Mitch Thompson since 2018, Aspyn had built a quiet, content life in Utah. The couple bought their first home in 2022, not far from Christine and her new husband, David Woolley. When Aspyn appeared on a local news segment in April 2025 to promote her work at a jewelry store, the host congratulated her on her pregnancy. Aspyn beamed, proudly showing off her baby bump in a blue and white dress. It was a tender moment, one that brought hope to a family that had been drowning in conflict. Christine was overjoyed at the news, embracing the role of grandmother once again. Already Oma to my Kelty's children and an honorary grandmother to Janelle's grandkids, Christine thrived in this new chapter of life. Her home, once filled with tension and emotional withdrawal, now radiated warmth, laughter, and the kind of love she had longed for during her marriage to Kody. Her relationship with David Woolley was nothing like the one she had left behind. It was equal, affectionate, and full of mutual respect. She often described it as the love I always deserved but never thought I'd find. Kody, however, could not ignore the widening distance between himself and many of his children. The fractures caused by years of neglect, favoritism, and unresolved conflicts were not easily mended. While he expressed a desire to rebuild those bonds, the reality was that trust takes time, and in some cases, it may never fully return. His attempts at reconciliation were met with mixed reactions. Some of his children welcomed the effort, while others remained cautious, unwilling to risk being hurt again. The shifting dynamics also extended to the family's shared assets. The division of the Coyote Pass property became a symbolic moment in their story. When Kody redivided the land, granting larger shares to Mary and Janelle, some saw it as a rare act of fairness. But Christine, who had already returned her share to the family, received nothing when the land was eventually sold for $1. $5 million. For her, the decision was less about money and more about closure. She had walked away, not only from the marriage, but also from the shared dreams and projects that had once bound the family together. The collapse of the Brown family's plural marriage was not a sudden event. It was the result of years of cracks forming beneath the surface. Christine's departure marked a turning point, but it also served as a catalyst for others to reevaluate their own relationships with Kody. Janelle, once seen as the steady and practical wife, began to recognize the deep emotional gaps in her marriage. Mary, who had long endured a loveless relationship, finally stepped away entirely. Each woman, in her own way, chose self-respect and independence over staying in a system that no longer brought them joy. For Christine, life after Kody was not just about finding new love. It was about rediscovering herself. She had spent decades compromising her needs for the sake of the family's public image and Kody's vision of marriage. Now she was living on her own terms. Whether she was traveling with David, hosting family gatherings, or simply enjoying a quiet evening, at home, Christine radiated the happiness that comes from knowing you are truly valued. The story of the Browns is one of love, heartbreak, resilience, and transformation. What began as a hopeful example of plural marriage evolved into a cautionary tale about communication, equality, and the dangers of neglect in any relationship. For the viewers who had followed them for years, it was a reminder that even the most unconventional families face the same challenges, and that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. And while the wounds of the past may never fully heal, new beginnings, like Aspyn's upcoming baby, offer a chance for renewal. Perhaps the next generation of Browns will build connections not bound by tradition, but by the simple, enduring power of love.